everybody? This is Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. I am your host, as always, Tristan. With me, also, as always, Hassan.
That's me.
That's that guy. Now, Hassan.
Yep.
I got a problem.
Oh, okay.
The problem is, there's way too much damn One Piece to watch. And or read.
Problem, Tristan.
It is literally, it's a problem. We all have it in society. It is ruining countries across the world. And it's a...
Well, have you considered just building a time machine and going back and watching it when it first started?
With what resources? We're all trying to read One Piece, and there's so much of it.
But some of us have already kind of read it all, so...
Well, lottie friggin' duh.
Like a problem to me.
Yeah, but you know who hasn't read it just yet? Anybody who can read all of it just yet, I should say. Anybody who can build a time machine. If they would have gotten to the end and built the time machine to make sure that everybody can get there already.
It's only 1,180 chapters. Can't take that long to get through.
It's a generational situation, Hassan. It's like going to Mars. Like if I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna read this manga, but then my kids are going to inherit that, and they're gonna pick it up and keep going. Like look, this is the fact of life.
I mean, just I don't know. You buckle down, you get through it in a couple days, right?
I'm still saying generational situation. I require multiple offspring to finish this thing.
Okay, how do you feel about knowing Rent a Girlfriend is over 400 chapters?
I've read through that in a day.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Now that I'm really into, because our boy's gonna do it any day now. He's gonna get the girlfriend. I know she rejected him after she said yes, kind of though, and then he's real sad. But also, he's gonna get there.
Yeah, just 400.
400
400 chapters, still just can't.
Yeah, he's any day now. How the fuck is Rent a Girlfriend still going on? My God,
I don't know.
How does it have an anime adaptation? 5 seasons. 5 seasons.
How? Like, look,
I don't get it.
I like some romance mangas. They draw things out.
Yes,
but 400 chapters.
Way too many.
What are you
way too many?
Doing?
I didn't even look. I thought Rent a Girlfriend had way less chapters than that, and like, I also thought it was like, hey, even if it's been going on for like a long time, I kind of figured it wasn't coming out like weekly, or however.
Actually, 420 chapters currently.
Oh, there you go. Well, happy 420, everybody. We did it. We got there. Is that the one where he gets real wasted and like realizes that his life's a fucking sham?
God, oh, that'd be an incredible ending. Actually.
Oh God. He eats an edible, and it's just like, I have wasted my entire life chasing off this one girl, and she doesn't even like me back. She wants to go to America and like start her fucking acting career and shit. It's like, yeah, maybe you should stop, you idiot. Anyway, this whole thing was meant to be like, is there a quicker way for me to watch One Piece? Thus setting up the plot.
Tristan, yes, but no. Tristan, there's this thing called the One Piece live action.
Yes.
The thing is, there's only 2 seasons of it,
okay.
So
yeah,
you're gonna be waiting a while if you.
Right. But they're like compressing. They're like compressing it all into like multiple episodes. Like each episode's like 20 chapters in one, right?
No.
200 chapters. Okay, good. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
One sec.
Here's how you do it. Here's my pitch. You stop doing whatever you're doing. Netflix Netflix One Piece show. Stop whatever it is you're doing, and just reshoot the whole thing, like 200 and 400 chapters all in one shot, right? And then do picture in picture in picture in picture in picture. So it's all a big mosaic of of everything happening at the exact same time. That way, you can just watch it and hopefully capture it within your body.
So right now it's roughly about 10 chapters an episode. So where the live action just finished would be around chapter 154.
Oh, sure.
And there are currently, I believe it's 16 episodes. Yeah, 16 episodes out.
Okay. All right. Sure. All right. Cool. So, how is season 2 of the One Piece live action show? The only live action anime on Netflix that's worth watching, I have heard.
I liked the Cowboy Bebop live action.
Yeah, it was all right.
That was actually fun. It wasn't amazing,
no,
but it was decent.
That's some good stuff.
I continue to like season 2 of the live action One Piece. And I would go so far as to say season 2 has done something or solidified things a little bit more than season 1 had for me.
All right.
In how I view the show, which is I've seen some criticism of not the show itself, but people's reaction to it, where I think there are, or not I think, I have seen people who like the show, but kind of go, oh, yeah, it's okay. You know, you take out the sort of anime adaptation element of it, or the already established sort of liking people have to One Piece, and if you just view it as a standalone thing,
sure,
it's really not that good. You know, it's still decent, but it's nothing special. And I disagree with that, because I think what season 2 has done for me is solidify that this show is not only a One Piece adaptation, but that it feels like it is evoking and going for a style that is reminiscent of, I would say, kind of 90s television, more lighthearted action. So I'm thinking about things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Xena Princess Warrior.
Your Sinbads.
Yeah, just in the sense of like, I don't know if you've seen him, but there's a character in season 2 called Wapol, Wapol, and he's got this metal jaw on the lower part of his face, and it looks good, but it doesn't look realistic, is the way I would put it. It has a sort of not cartoony element to it, but it looks like it is supposed to be a little bit exaggerated, is how I would put it. You know,
yes.
it doesn't want you to be, it doesn't want to be visceral. It doesn't want to be, you know, oh, this actually looks like what real cybernetics would look like, or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so just the look of it, it makes me think, oh yeah, this is what a character from a Buffy, a Xena, a Sinbad, something like that would look like. And I appreciate that with the show. Or there's another scene, so that would, I'm thinking, God, what would it be? I think it would be, episode 5, Wax On, Wax Off. And so there is a character, his name is Mr. 3, and he has these devil fruit powers that let him basically just create and control wax. And fun. So he captures 3 of the characters, Nami, Zoro, and Vivi, and he's going to entomb them in wax. And so, like, initially they basically just like clearly rubbed white paint on them, and then eventually it keeps building up. And the wax doesn't look amazing, but I'm actually okay with that and enjoying that some of these special effects are not going for the highest budget, the most realistic on things.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
It makes it feel more like it is a TV show, and I think it helps to keep things a little bit more lighthearted than, hey, if this was as, you know, realistic looking and visceral as something like a Game of Thrones, I think this show would just lose a lot. And that by having these a little bit goofier looking, a little bit less serious looking moments, I think it helps to make this show feel like actual television and more like its source materials than a lot of other stuff when they try and do, you know, adaptations and, oh, we're going to get serious and things are going to be grounded. This show just says, no, hey, what if we have a scene where Sanji, the guy who only fights using kicks, has to fight, I don't know if it's like a weasel or a stoat or something that's flying on top of an albatross and firing a gun at him. Like, okay, yeah, no, let's do that. Yes, that's a moment that happens, and they just repeat it. And you're like, yes, perfect, great, do that, awesome,
cool,
love it.
All right.
This show is the world of One Piece is weird and wacky and dumb, and I love it. I will say the thing that most surprised me about this season is how little they actually seem to have changed from the source materials, because I think I mentioned this when we talked about season 1. My expectation with this show was they would at some point clearly try to deviate from the manga and anime, and that they would go, okay, we clearly cannot do this show for 20 years to cover everything that those others do. We can't cover every arc, every kind of, you know, character and story beat, what have you. So eventually we need to kind of do like I can't think of another kind of adaptation that tries to
like a divergent adaptation that will actually,
I can't think of any good examples, but points. I was sure they would take a different path and go, okay, we're going to make the One Piece, it's just some massive treasure, and instead it's just going to be, oh, you know, Luffy versus the Navy, and he beats the Navy and gets it, and hooray. This doesn't deviate in the ways I would have expected season 2 to start to deviate if it was going to do that. So, for example, the first episode is the one where they get to Loke Town. So that is this island in town where the previous and only pirate king, Goldie Roger, was executed. And so Luffy is all, oh man, this is amazing. I can't believe we're here where, you know, Gold Roger told everybody about the One Piece, and, you know, he started this new age of piracy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But a bunch of stuff happens around it. But one of the things that's interesting is that the character Monkey D. Dragon, who is Luffy's father and who is the head of the Revolutionary Army, shows up the same way he does in the manga and anime.
Oh, cool.
And that's kind of all they show with him. They don't really go into him too much. They don't kind of go into a lot of stuff around the revolutionaries and why they're doing what they're doing or how the world government works. And those are some of the things I really expected them to establish differences and diverge and go, okay, hey, this is how the world government works in this, and how we're gonna slightly shift it and be able to sort of end this earlier. Because to me, I was expecting this show would go basically one season after when the character Frankie, he's the cyborg crew member who is the shipwright for the crew. I thought they would basically go one season after and end there.
Okay.
However, in episode 2, they show us the character Brooke. So in the manga and anime, Brooke is this character who, I think it's 50 years ago, he was, just a normal human. He was part of another crew called the Rumbar Pirates. They fell afoul of this other powerful pirate group. They all died off, except Brooke, who he ate a devil fruit that allows his soul to separate from his body. And so he just ends up becoming a skeleton man.
Ooh, fun.
But in episode 2, they show us this flashback of Brooke. And so I was like, oh, they might actually be planning on at least going that far, which is a surprise, because I have to imagine that trying to have Brooke in the show would probably be expensive to have a CGI skeleton man doing stuff.
Sounds like it, yes.
Yeah, so that one surprised me quite a bit, to see him show up, to see Dragon show up, and then still just leave him as this mystery character and not try and use him as a means to take the story on a different path. And so I'm still enjoying this show, but those moments definitely gave me pause where I was like, uh-oh, I don't know that this show is ever going to have a satisfactory ending. If they are not planting those sort of seeds now to be able to diverge and change things and get to a different path and a different ending for things, and I can't see this show going for 20 years. It doesn't seem possible, right? What big major actiony show goes that long, right? There are shows that definitely go for 20 plus years, but it's Grey's Anatomy type things, or Survivor, simpler things that, okay, yeah, these shows don't cost nearly as much and are relatively easy to just shoot season after season.
Right, of course. Not a lot of CGI pushing Grey's Anatomy.
They should, though. Imagine how cool they could make that show if just skeleton men started showing up.
Doctor, we have an epidemic of skeleton men. Whoa. Oh no! Their bones are popping out of their skin and dancing around. What do we do? They're dead. We can't do it. They're dead. All right. Grey's Anatomy solved.
Season 3 on the pit.
On the pit. That'd be fucking awesome. Like this, that's the most serious, doctor drama ever. And it's just let's throw some silly shit in there. Why not?
Dr. Robbie back from his sabbatical, all charged up. Oh no, skeleton-itis is taking over. What do I do? But getting back to One Piece. I also really like season 2 has some really interesting, I guess you would say like costume changes. In that One Piece is actually pretty good for, while the characters tend to stick to their general sort of design aesthetics, in the sense that Luffy is well known for his sort of red shirt, his sort of, I guess you would call them khakis, and sandals with the straw hat. Zoro tends to be, t-shirt, green sash around the waist, bandana. Tony Chopper with his hat. Like these characters have their visual designs, but as they travel from island to island and are in different regions, they'll update those. So, okay, they're in a cold area. They're going to have, winter jackets and what have you, but that are kind of themed off their previous outfits. And I like that this show continued that.
Yeah, it's good.
Like they get to this place called Whiskey Peak, and initially I was very confused until I saw a video after the fact, because Luffy is wearing this almost baseball outfit, and then I looked it up, and it literally is supposed to be that, because it was one of the like special covers that, hey, it doesn't relate to anything. It was just the mangaka Oda thought, yeah, these are cool designs, I'm just going to draw them, and they just took that and then made it his attire for the episode.
Yeah, okay.
So I like that we're getting to see the characters look a little bit visually different, because season 1, I think they only ever had what I guess you would call their sort of base outfits, their default outfits. I don't know what else to call it.
Right.
But actually getting to see them change and do stuff is great. Speaking of Whiskey Peak, I think that episode is a really good example of how another reason this show continues to be good and fun is, so the main cast members, so that would be let me look it up. So Inaki Godoy is Luffy, Emily Rudd is Nami, Makenyu is Zoro, Jacob Romero is Usopp, and Taz Skylar is Sanji. Those 5 in particular all just love One Piece and love their characters.
Yes.
And so Whiskey Peak is this island that when the Straw Hats get there, initially they come to this village, and the village pretends, we just love pirates, let's have a party to celebrate our new pirate friends. Actually, they work for this group called Baroque Works, who, that's a front, and then they just murder the pirates and steal their stuff. But in the manga and anime, it is said that Zoro defeated 100 of these Baroque Work agents. And so when they have this extended fight scene of Zoro against all these agents, Makenyu literally made the production people make sure that he fights and defeats exactly 100 people. It's like, I know the fans are going to count. I want it to be accurate. I want to beat and have on film 100 people. Man. Do not cut a single yeah, we cut this shot, so now it's 98 people. No, I want it to be 100. And the best part is he posts this story, and then underneath it, Jacob Romero, who plays Usopp, replies, it's like, oh, yeah, just so you guys know, Usopp also beat 100 guys, but they didn't have time in the episode, so they cut that. But Captain Usopp, he also totally beat 100 Baroque Work agents. He's super powerful, too, It's like, oh, man, it's so good just how
it's cool that they're
characters
into it.
There.
It's like they got people who are, doing, live role play on Twitter or whatever. And, really into that shit to play these characters.
It really was, and
they just
I don't think
know them.
you need that to make a show work.
No, Lord, no.
Uh,
It works.
but
It helps.
yeah, it helps. It's really fun. There is a weird one, and I couldn't find confirmation or denial of this. So there is a character in One Piece, called oh my god, because I'm looking at the actor now. I can't find his actual name. It is Dr. No, I don't care about you, Kureha. You're fine. Here, look. Is that his name? This is annoying. Why is this wiki so bad at get me the people I want? Yes, Dr. Hiruluk, Hiriluk.
Okay.
He is then portrayed by the actor Mark Herelick, Harelik.
Sure.
And I can't tell if they just got him because the names are similar. He does a really good job, fantastic in the role.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw that, I went, "What? That's a weirdly close name to have." Did you go out of your way and you're just like, "Oh, we just found a guy with similar name. Let's just cast him."
No, it just turns out this guy's also a super fan, I assume.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't see that, at least. He's also, that's another. I like that this show keeps some of the silliest design elements from the manga and anime. So Hiruluk is this man who wears like an Abraham Lincoln style top hat, but then his hair is basically these two cones coming out of the side and one cone basically coming out of the back. And they still just did that in live action. And it looks so stupid, but I love it because that fits this world where, Oda just designs stuff he thinks looks fun and interesting.
Yeah, of course.
And so the fact that they just went with it and didn't go, this would be silly. We can't do this. We have to change it. And just went, no, this is what his hair looks like. We need to figure out how to make this hair work the same way that a cosplayer would. So, let's just do that.
Gotta do it the same way. Well, there's the thing. Here's the thing. If a cosplayer can do it and make it look good, why can't a full production crew?
Yeah. I also I talked about, this is goofy, this is fun, this is very anime.
Sure.
It leans into that too in the right ways, so that there are these both more serious and more dramatic moments that it just leans into those parts, and it isn't afraid to get a little bit corny, a little bit cliche. So,
right.
Drum Island has most of that. So the plot of that is that this island, Drum Island, is this cold, snowy nation. It is ruled by a fairly egotistical and angry, brutish man called Wapol, who only cares for himself, and the people kind of live in misery. Eventually, they kind of overthrow and oust him and kick him off the island,
as you do.
But on this island, they have these incredible doctors, to the point that in the anime, at one point, Wapol gets his head cut off, but the doctors just reattach it and he survives.
What? Come on.
That's not the craziest thing in One Piece.
How is it not? How is it not?
I mean, there's a guy who basically ate the vor fruits,
Fair enough.
We're not there yet. You don't have to hear too much about Beige, but
but what if I want Beige? His name is Beige.
Beige Capone. I think that's how it's Bege, and I've only ever read the manga, so
Biggie.
I don't actually know how it gets
Beige.
said, but I assume it's pronounced as beige.
That's as good as I got too. Yeah, beige is probably about right.
I mean, I mean, it's Italian, so maybe it's like Biggie or something. I have
Biggie.
no idea. Uh, but um, at the time when this island is ruled by Wapol and people kind of living in misery, Hiraluk is this, he's just considered this quack doctor, to the point that he would like literally show up at people's houses and be all, oh, don't worry, I can help cure them, and then would just have the dumbest, most nonsensical cures that didn't work for them.
Sure.
Which on an island full of these incredible doctors, the people don't have access to. Wapol keeps all of them to himself.
As yes.
You know, the people live in misery as a result. And so Hiraluk has this idea of, okay, in my past, I was a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a pirate, or I forget if it was a pirate or a thief, but basically, hey, I used to be this bad person, and then I saw this incredible miracle of, I believe it was a unnamed island where he saw these sakura petals coming down,
Right.
and so he has this. It basically it inspires him, and he talks about how, hey, this nation, it has a sickness, and the sickness is in its heart. Yes, the people, they live in poverty, all this, but it's the sadness and the sickness. And if I can cure that, and if I can fix that, that's what's going to save the people. But then he gets sick, and
okay.
he is slowly dying, and he's worried about not getting to finish his work in time. That is when he meets a young Tony Chopper, who that is the sort of deer tiny man character from One Piece.
For sure.
It's a deer that I believe it is called the human fruit. And so normally it's supposed to turn a human into a super intelligent human, but because he's a deer, it turned him into a deer that is just a very intelligent human equivalent, and his right can also kind of transform into these kind of monstrous forms at times. And so, anyways, Hiraluk, he starts training Tony in the way of medicine, blah, blah, blah. But one day he hears about how, oh no, all the doctors at Castle, I'm just going to call it Castle Wapol, have gotten sick. And so he rushes off there, goes to, he's like, I need to save the doctors, let me in. Gets inside, nope, it was a trick by Wapol to eliminate him.
Man.
And
Wapol.
And so, actually, I should go back a step. So one thing is, when he was educating Tony Chopper, he showed him in a book he talked about how like a skull and crossbones, the symbol of pirates, is this good thing. Tony Chopper looks in this medical book. Hears about this magical mushroom that can cure anything, and he's like, I see this skull and crossbones in a book for this mushroom. I'm gonna go find it and make the doctor better.
Sure.
Obviously, it's a poisonous mushroom.
Obviously,
it theoretically would kill the doctor, but the doctor eats it as he's leaving to go to Castle Wapol anyways. So, and he was already dying. So, Tony ends up being guilt-ridden, being like, it's my fault he died. Really isn't. But when he gets to the castle and he sees these doctors are alive and fine, and he knows he's going to die, he's still relieved. And he gives this speech about like, oh, when does a man die? Is it when he eats this poison mushroom? Is it when a bullet pierces his heart? No, it's when he doesn't save his blah, 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 save his nation. And it's so just cliche and silly. And like literally it's ending at one point where he talks about this sort of one guy in the castle, good person in the castle, Dalton, and he talks about it. And he's like, oh, this monster is going to come. Please don't hurt him. That's my son, referring to Tony Chopper. And then he basically, in this instance, he sort of pops these explosives and just sort of takes out himself and a bunch of the bad guys.
Okay, sounds good.
It's like, oh, in anything else, this would just be so dumb and bad. But because it leans into it, because it goes, this is what anime is. This is the sort of dialogue it has, the way over the top melodrama that happens. It works here. It feels sincere and serious.
It's cool.
And it attaches you to those characters and endears them. And it does it in smaller moments too. Like, so this good guy character Dalton, who he was basically captain of the guards, and after they oust King Wapol, who he ends up making his return, attacking this village.
Right.
Dalton tries to stop him, gets these serious injuries. This character, Dr. Kureha, who basically took over raising Tony Chopper, and I believe declares herself the greatest living medical doctor. And she might be right in that respect.
As
but
you do.
Yes. She comes across Dalton and he's injured. She's all cynical about, oh, I'm leaving this island. It's doomed, blah, blah, blah. And, he just has some, even if it's doomed, I still have to fight back. And she just does the, all right, come here. Let me fix you up then. And sort of sticks around and helps out. You're like, yeah, this is real stupid. But boy, it's fantastic. She's portrayed by Katie Siegel. Fantastic job out of her.
Nice. Love Katie Siegel.
Yes. And like, it's interesting because Katie Siegel does plenty of live action acting.
Yep, tons.
But in a lot of ways, it feels like she is evoking some of her voice acting stuff. There's a lot of kind of Leela in this, with how she's, I wouldn't say portraying Kureha, because she's portraying Kureha as she is in the manga and anime, but just the means by which she is acting, it feels kind of voice actor in a way, just over exaggerate in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And
I mean, is that necessarily a bad thing for that kind of character?
No, it's good. It works.
All right, good.
I don't have too much more to say. The last thing I want to touch on is and there's a bunch of good characters we could talk about. I love how they portray I can't remember his name, but he's this character from Whiskey Peak who he wears this sort of like judge's wig with the curls.
What's the name for
and
that? Anyway,
his thing is that they're guns that will come out of those, and he'll just go ma ma ma, gunfire after. That's so stupid. I love it.
That's insane.
Bunch of good characters like that. Yes.
Yeah.
But throughout quite a bit of this episode, it would be so from episode 3 onwards, they introduced this character Vivi, who you find out she's the princess of the Arabasta Kingdom, which is this island that is going through turmoil, and she was kind of tasked by her father to find out why. Turns out this big baddie known as Crocodile, who is the head of Baroque Works, has basically secretly been fomenting unrest, trying to cause a revolution, and put himself in charge of this kingdom. That is obviously where season 3 is going to go, is what would be known as the Arabasta arc.
Now, just to be clear, I've heard a lot about this Crocodile guy from other things. He's like real bad, right?
He is a bad guy, although eventually he does become sort of an ally of Luffy, or I guess a temporary ally, you would say.
Sure.
Crocodile is one of the best villains One Piece has had. He's so good. Just a real good look, a real kind of Italian.
I do love his look.
I'm
where
looking
right
he'll
now.
have a big ol' chonkin cigar in his mouth, but then he's got just this. It's a hook hand, but there's just this massive sort of circle that the hook sits on top of on his hand, and it's a real good look, and he's sort of got a very
the fur coat that drapes over him. That's silly for me.
That helps, but it's also he has a very kind of composed and generally unperturbed attitude towards things. He is.
I get that.
He's that sort of, hey, I'm the head of this, criminal organization. I don't need to normally get worked up. I don't need to get, upset and anger about something. I want somebody dead. I just say dead. Somebody fails me, they're done. I don't have to shout those kind of things. Right. Yeah, fantastic villain. But one thing I hope is that season 3 is not just the Arabasta arc, because that is a good story arc. I do like it quite a bit. And looking it up, so that is around 63 chapters. So if they were to, again, roughly 10-ish chapters to an episode, that would be about 6 episodes. And
all right, sure.
I think that would end up feeling a bit dragged out and long.
Yeah.
In the anime and manga, it works fine to have things be that long.
Yeah.
I think in live action or in this show, it wouldn't work as well, because the problem with that is to have something last that long, because these episodes are, 40 minutes to an hour. They're not, 22-minute episodes. They are longer.
Of course, yes.
To spend sort of, hey, here is 4 to 6 hours of this singular arc, and not have it be something that is kind of building towards something that fundamentally changes the world or progresses the plot. And there is a little bit of that in the Arabasta arc, but if I think about other sort of TV shows that for some reason my brain goes to say Star Trek, right? If Star Trek is going to have something that lasts multiple episodes, it has a good reason for that. It is building towards something. It is making that matter. Yeah. Hey, the reason this has to take multiple episodes is this affects the very foundations of the Klingon Empire, or this could potentially lead to war against this other group. So if they spent 6 episodes and it's just sort of, okay, they saved the kingdom, they defeat a crocodile, hasn't really progressed things forward. It has not, advanced Luffy's goals towards becoming Pirate King or any of the other crew and their dreams and goals.
Okay.
It would feel like a bit of a slog to me. It would feel like, hey, this was fine in the anime because that's just how anime is, but this is a different medium. You can't spend 6 hours of my life and just sort of
piss it away.
Oh, that was all good storytelling, but
yeah,
we didn't really advance anything.
Main plot gets not resolved in any way. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, that's maybe a little unfortunate.
But I'm definitely looking forward to season 3, no matter what. I hope if they do Arabasta arc, either it's a little bit shorter or they make some changes. I'll also be curious to see in season 3 how they handle some of these like how they handle, because season 3 introduces some additional characters like Luffy's brother Ace, and I believe the end of Arabasta was actually where we initially learned that Garp was Luffy's grandfather. So that was one of the like big changes. They reveal that pretty early in season 1. So I'll be curious to see if they try and have some other things that they pull forward in place of that. I hope it comes out fairly quickly. They've already confirmed it's going to be 2027. I hope it is early 2027 and not late 2027, because as somebody who is just coming off of season 2 of The Pit and came late to The Pit, so I watched season 1 and 2 relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Now you're
waiting.
I miss when TV shows just regularly, season after season, came out. Yeah. And they've said that they want to get into a pretty solid cadence with One Piece. So like I was surprised they announced before, like months before season 2 came out, that they had cast a beloved character, so a Baroque Works agent called Mr. 2. And he didn't show up in this at all. And I went, oh, so he's only in season 3, and looked it up. And apparently they've already done a bunch of shooting for season 3 because, hey, they already knew they got the green light. They could just film certain scenes immediately because, hey, we already have certain actors we need, blah, blah, blah. So I'm hoping that means that this can come out pretty quickly and get into a regular cadence. God, be nice. It's just so nice coming off of The Pit and going, hey, I know that the next season will be out in early 2027, and I'm not going to be waiting 18 plus months for it. It's so nice.
Yeah.
More shows should do that.
Yep, I hear you. Premiere TV is a hard sell sometimes. Like, look, I'm a Severance fan. I know exactly what you're going through. Because, okay, in example, love Severance. Fantastic show. It's got 2 seasons across like 5 years. And it's like, you kind of need to maybe charge it forward a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm watching Slow Horses. That's got 6 seasons. A season came out each year. Boom, boom. And they're all awesome.
I don't think that makes sense. You just said the show is called Slow Horses.
Yeah, well, that's, it's a moniker. It's not like the bed Slow Horses.
I don't think that's true. But I know for this show, they said that season 2 actually would have come out sooner, but they got affected by the writers and then actors strike, or whichever order it went in. Apparently that caused some pretty big delays on stuff.
It was writers first, I believe.
It's hey, fingers crossed that hopefully, now that because there's definitely been, you think about the last 6 years between COVID and the strikes. There have admittedly been some mitigating circumstances for some shows that would not have been as lengthy a gap as they otherwise would be. But then also Pluribus, that wasn't affected by any of those things, and they've straight up said, don't expect season 2 anytime soon. So it's not like every show can have an excuse, but
no,
I'm hoping that with One Piece, they are telling the truth when it's, hey, those things cause delays. Otherwise, we would have these things out at a way faster clip, because that'd be nice.
That would be nice. I do agree with that. Yeah, I mean, like, it, especially for a thing like One Piece, where it seems like it's a little more complex to make, as opposed to The Pit, where it's not as complex to make. You know, effects budget over here in One Piece versus not as big an effects budget over here on the Pit. You can just kind of shoot it, you know, write it, shoot it, reshoots, all that stuff, whatever you got to do. But like the production schedule for the Pit, I would imagine is a lot simpler than One Piece's production schedule.
Until season 3, when Dr. Langdon has to fight Doflamingo Don Quixote, and it gets really balloons that budget.
Yeah,
don't know why they decided to bring that in, but
that would be fun. Yeah, I do. I love the idea of a serious show just being like, we have one weird fucking episode every season. Every season, just something absolutely insane happens, and you have to deal with it, and then back to business. The rest of the show. It could be anywhere in the season 2. I would kill for that.
Yeah,
I want to write.
It actually wouldn't work very well in the Pit, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, that's the point. Well. That's the point, though. It's like, okay, yeah, like I haven't really watched the Pit enough to really riff off of it, but. So yeah, here's an episode. Oh no, I know enough about the mass casualty event episode, which I've heard is intense.
It's multiple episodes.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, imagine following that up with an episode where he fights a One Piece character. There's just a guy breaks into the hospital and he is a One Piece character, not dressed as, but he is, and then you got to deal with that guy. Yeah, like here comes Garp, or okay. no, Garp is too normal looking as far as
look. There's a guy who I forget exactly what his power is supposed to be called, but basically he can create these giant stone walls and sort of this stone golem version of himself.
Sure.
But he has a really high-pitched voice. He talks like this, even though he's this big muscly dude like this. So, I'd just have him show up.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. That's a great get. Yeah. What if he showed up? Or actually, I'm looking at Mr. 2. What if Mr. 2 in his fucking swan regalia?
Oh my god, yes. Bon Coudé.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. Well, what if that guy shows up? Doing his thing. And it's just like, okay, how do you deal with this guy on this, show about a hospital? I would enjoy that. But no, we can't have nice things like premiere television just be like, yeah, we're dumping the premiere aspect for one episode. Oh man, I would kill for that. Absolutely kill for that. Anyway, we should probably wrap it up. Unless you have anything else you want to say about the One Piece live action show.
No, other than just, I don't, season 2 is not going to change anybody's mind on One Piece in general or this show in general, right? If you watched a couple episodes of season 1 and it just didn't do it for you, or hey, you've tried with the anime or manga and you just, couldn't get into it, I don't think this show is going to change that. But if you've ever seen anything One Piece and thought, yeah, I don't know, it looks fun, sure does seem like there's way too much of it, I absolutely think that the live action is a good way to experience all of that.
I've heard this, yes. Well, yeah, I know that a few friends of mine have gotten into One Piece lately. I still haven't, but I am the one holdout. I tend to be the case.
We'll get you someday.
It hasn't happened yet. Maybe someday. Look, I am sold on the idea of One Piece being this really really well written anti-fascist pro utilitarian pro anarchist kind of situation. I do like that. I'm big into those kinds of stories. At the same time, my problem is that One Piece has always been just a little too cartoony for my taste. And
I don't know what you're talking about, Tristan. Just because one dude who had a fire fruit and one dude who had an ice fruit fought, and then it turned half an island into a winter wonderland and one half into a volcano. That's totally normal. That happens all the time.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
fantastical about that.
That I can accept. It's more so the way people dress in this show. Is the problem.
Look, just because Nami's proportions keep getting more and more ridiculous.
That's also a whole thing. Like, the way women are drawn in this show slash manga are. What is happening? Like, why do they have such? There's no organs in these women, nor skeletons. Like Nico Robin, I can understand. Nami though. Nami is impossible as a person. She should not be alive. I assume all of her organs just are in her boobs at this point. Boobs and waist. Or not even waist, sorry, hips. And it's just like it's like that. Like how do you how I don't
I got nothing.
It's whatever. I mean, like, look. The way the women are drawn is one thing. It's a whole other thing with the way some of the costuming is, which I appreciate how weird it is. As a connoisseur of weird shit, I appreciate that. At the same time, it's just like this. It's got this serious message. Like, there's a disconnect that's not quite happening. But maybe that's the most like punk rock pirate thing, is that it looks the way it is, and then also is about being punk and piratey. I don't know. My take on it. I haven't, like I said, actually read it or watched it. Okay, I cannot say that. So I did actually used to read One Piece, but like back when it was first coming out, like the first few chapters with the Captain Buggy arc. Yeah. Like back in the day in Shonen Jump.
That's very early.
Yes, I am very aware. We've long since moved on.
We'll make you read the rest.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see where I'm at. I don't. Yeah. Well, Chainsaw Man's done, so maybe.
Yeah, that's right. It's done. You need to read something.
There's other things. One Piece. No, One Piece. No, I got all of it. Dude, how about just like a little bit?
No, all.
Oh, fuck. All
right. And on that note, why don't you tell people where to find us?
Go to our Blue Sky, which is at AIFNIR. We are there. You can't say otherwise. You should go to our iTunes and Spotify pages. Rate us something, leave a review, listen to our show. Go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe. If you would, that'd be nice. You don't have to, but it'd be cool if you did. You'd be number one cool person if you'd like to subscribe. Also share the show with your friends if you enjoy what we got going on. I bet they would enjoy a show where we discuss One Piece and I don't know what I'm talking about. You should also go to friendsdjdane.com. That's got does music, djdane.com. Listen to his great tunes. And if you would just so kindly, how about you like just sweep him up into like a grand old like pirate adventure? I think he would like that.
Yeah. I mean, you read the history books. People love being Shanghai.
Yes. Yeah. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh man, I hated being Shanghai to wherever to work on a ship somewhere in the middle of the ocean." They all come back going like, "Boy, howdy, that was a fun time.
Yeah, it was so cool and awesome."
Yeah.
So Andy will love it.
Yeah, I loved drinking my own urine for a couple days. It was great.
What's scurvy? Come on.
Scurvy is nothing. Whatever.
Teeth regrow anyways.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is it for our show. Tune in next time for another estivating episode of Everything is Fine, Everything is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Say it.